Hi, my name is Martin Geddes-Jones. I'm the manager for the Tape and Functional Film Expo, which will be in Detroit on the 4th and 5th of October 2023. Of course, we will have another show in Amsterdam as well on the 21st to the 23rd of March 2023. But we have Glen here from Drytac, who is an esteemed advisory board member. Hello, Glen. And I just wanted to ask you, first and foremost, really, what made you become a member of the advisory board, Glen?
Well, I think I first saw, thank you for the introduction, by the way, esteemed. I don't know if I've ever been called that, but I appreciate that.
No worries.
Yeah, no, I think I first found out about the Tape and Functional Film exhibition on LinkedIn. It was probably associated with the Silicon Expo. So I just kind of tapped onto it, took a look at the description of what you were trying to accomplish with this exhibition, and I think it's really perfect. It's the first one that I can remember anyway, where it's focusing on tape specifically and all the components that go into it. So, you know, from adhesives to the chemicals that make the adhesives to the functional films that are used for the carrier or even an actual function of the tape itself, to the organizations who end up coating the adhesives, which is where Drytac comes into play. And then also dives into, once you have this tape manufactured or engineered for you, how can you properly get it in a format that'll work in your manufacturing processes? So I know there's tape converters, die cutters that will be participating in this. And then also, once you have that format, how can you properly apply it using some automation? So I know there's a couple of automation companies that are going to be in there too. So it really takes it from the beginning of an idea all the way to completion and putting it into your actual manufacturing facility.
Effectively, the show is there for the whole supply chain. We really, really want people to understand and constantly acknowledge that there's no one that we wouldn't consider. Because when people think, for instance, tape, they think sellotape, if you don't know the industry or something like that, duct tape, things like that. But of course, there is a huge process within the whole thing, which involves companies like yourself, and there's plenty of companies which we would happily welcome because it is a huge industry and it's a very, very rapidly growing market as well.
Yeah, no, I mean, I know what you're talking about there. I mean, it's when I first got into tape, which was 25 years ago, I remember I was first hired at a company called Tessa, which is a large manufacturer globally. And I remember sitting in for my first, tape training, pressure sensitive tape 101. And I'm just like, how hard can this be? But I was blown away with, the amount of information and how, not difficult, but how dynamic you can make a tape product. So, and then over the years, you find out that it's in just so many different industries, from medical, transportation, renewable energy. So I think this, this exhibition will bring, people who already are aware of what a tape product can do. But I think what's most important is people who, in my experience, when I go out and talk to people about tape, are you using it? The answer is yes or no. Well, yes, then great. You come in and see how can you improve on the product that you're currently using? Is there a better release liner that can be used? Can I get it in a better format, in a die cut? And then for the people who are not familiar with tape or who are not using it in their process, the majority, I think, are of the people who just don't understand the power or the potential of what tapes can do. Some of them probably have tried before and it just won't work in their process, which happens. But I think the majority of people just don't understand what goes into these components, or what
No.
components go into the tapes, and how well it can do.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And this is a great opportunity for us to showcase that. Obviously, just touched on yourself and your experience. You used to work for Taser. So how long have you been in the industry, actually, may I ask?
It's 25 years this coming January. As I mentioned, I was first hired at Tessa Tape, which is a fantastic company. I worked in a variety of their industries, strictly in sales, for about 13 years, and then moved into the converting side, where we purchased materials from Tessa, 3M, Avery Dennison, and then we took those materials and either created a whole new tape product by laminating it to different felts, foils, you name it, and then die cutting those materials. So now it's taking the manufactured tape and now making it an integral part of a product that you're manufacturing. So I was there for about 10 years, and now I've come back over to the coating side, and that's where I'm now with Drytac. Drytac's 40 years old. I've been with Drytac for just over a year, and we have manufacturing facilities in the UK, Bristol, UK, and here in North America in Toronto. And I'm based out of the Toronto location, but I work directly with our colleagues in the UK as well, because we're always kind of transferring different ideas back and forth.
Yeah, so you've got several locations, but if I was, let's say, just someone in the industry, in the medical industry, packaging, graphics industry, for instance, what would you say Drytac do in general?
Yeah, so Drytac's core competence is coating materials, pressure-sensitive tapes for the large format graphic industry. So, all the wonderful point of purchase posters that you see on the side of buildings, or even in your Tim Hortons, Starbucks. Trying to think of European Starbucks. Chibo, I think, is one. Is that in Germany? I seem to remember, but.
I think you might have mentioned at one point you work with companies like Nike as well.
For sure, yeah, the big ones of Nike. I mean, we'll work with all end users who, it's their products that are printed or marketed on these materials. So you can't have these materials with a Nike logo falling off a wall somewhere.
No.
You have to make sure you're using the proper adhesive and film to get the best bang for your buck, and make sure that your product is well displayed. So that's the main core competence. Now, where I fall into place, my colleague Dennis LeBlanc, who's also part of the TFF, he looks after the graphics side, where I'm more of the industrial side. I take all these wonderful products, which kind of comes back to the whole exhibition, and the power of it is we can take some of these products that have a great track record, the adhesives and the films that are displayed outside, and bring those into other industries such as packaging, renewable energy, medical. So, that's where I kind of fall into place.
Okay, awesome. So yeah, we are looking to have the high yield end users at the show. So of course the medical industry, packaging, automotive, agriculture, flat panel displays, solar panels, things like that. So
industries that may not even know. That's another thing. Again, it's like there's two types of people here: people who use tape, and people who should use tape and they just don't know it yet.
Absolutely,
it's a big audience.
That's it. And this is the whole point of having yourself on the advisory board, really, because we're constantly wanting to bounce ideas off each other and help innovate the industry, really. So super excited for that. So in terms of Drytac, then, what is going on that's super exciting at Drytac, would you say, at the moment?
Well, sustainability is the big word these days, right? So yeah, I mean, we're in the midst of launching, engineering and launching our Drytac Zero line, which is you know, that's just one of the big things in the industry these days, is sustainability. And you know, it's more spearheaded by the Drytac graphics area.
Okay.
And so my colleague Dennis LeBlanc could probably talk a little bit more about that.
Yeah, I
But
believe
that,
Dennis is going to be coming on at some point soon on one of the
yeah,
tips.
he will be. He's pretty excited about it as well.
I think it's important for people to know that you're a company that takes pride in that, because, of course, the world's not in the greatest of positions at this time. And obviously, you want to have things that are sustainable, because that means you can help to keep things going, and the environment's safer with your products as well.
Yeah, of course. It's just keep innovating. And, you know, when I first started in the industry 25 years ago, and you look at the products that were in the market at the time versus now, I mean, it's just night and day. So I can only imagine what 25 years from now, when, well, I am a tape geek, so I'll probably still be involved in some way, but 25 years from now, what's it going to look like?
Yeah. Well, sounds like you guys are moving in the right direction, and you'll be prepared for that anyway. And yeah, we're excited to hear your advice and move forward with you with this great partnership that we have, and see what we can do for the industry. But yeah, we're really excited to see you at the show. Hopefully we can have a couple of beers. For those that don't know where Drytac will be, you will know very, very quickly, because you've got a lot of sponsorship at the show.
Yes,
Well,
absolutely.
so you will be super visible. And yeah, your booth is 404. So
That's correct.
yeah, if anyone wants to come and see the guys, Glenn and his team, head over to that booth at the show, and they'll be happy to help you and have a chat with yourself. But yeah, I have really, really enjoyed chatting with you, Glenn.
I've
And
enjoyed it too. I'm really looking forward to both shows, the Amsterdam one in particular.
yeah,
I think that's the first one, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Amsterdam's got a lot to give. So is Detroit, of course. But yeah,
Oh yeah.
of course, yeah. So
Detroit's only
yeah,
3 hours away from me though, so it's not as exciting as Amsterdam, right?
you've probably been there, done
I've been
Detroit
there many times. Detroit is very, very
as
cool.
well. So thank you so much for your time, Glenn, and bid you farewell. And until next time, thank you very much.
That's great. Thanks, Mark.
Take care.
Bye now.